Hello and welcome back to the Drawk Show. Lovely to talk to everybody. We're going to be talking to Tombstone today about their character from a how many year was it 4 year campaign?
Like I want to say 7 years, honestly.
Okay. Oh, I misremembered. Holy shit! Is seven is
Yeah.
the longest campaign I've ever been in is PF2 for Age of Ashes, which has been going for 4 years, and now I've been in like three. Seven is the longest I've run is two. That's wild to me. That's impressive.
Yes, it was. It started in in friggin' 2016, and we didn't end it until November 2022.
Okay, so no wonder you're doing PF1. PF2 did not exist.
Yes.
There was not an option there.
Yeah, and it took so long that that now the remaster is coming out of Pathfinder 2.
Oh my god, you're right. You went from a time where Pathfinder 2 didn't exist to a point where it was getting like it's 3.5.
Yeah.
Although I guess 3.5 changed or it came out quite a bit quicker than Pathfinder Remastered.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start with the basics. I want to know the foundational concept of the campaign. Like what's the tagline pitch of the idea of the campaign itself?
The basic headline of the campaign is about it was a kingdom building campaign, so it was about a group of adventurers who had come from this this land in the GM's far east there,
Mm-hmm.
about going back to their homes and trying to reclaim their homeland after it had been taken over by the shogun of the Broken Coast.
Ooh, okay. So your characters had been away for some reason for some time.
Yeah, back since back when they were kids and they got sent away. Most of them anyway. We had some player characters who were from the location we went to. Who
Oh,
joined us.
like people who came back to join this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting mix.
Yeah. They went from the Far East back when they were kids to friggin' the GM's fantasy Italy equivalent called the Ven. That's where the campaign started.
All right, so the idea was it had been taken over by a corrupt shogunate or corrupt evil. What's the descriptor?
Evil, corrupt, probably likely. I would say is
Okay,
closest.
so evil at the very least.
Yeah. My character sort of wanted to give him the benefit after a while in the campaign, but when we finally got to him, it became pretty obvious. He's sort of an inept evil sort of a guy.
Okay,
Who's sort of
and
serving the purposes of something eviler than he was, but realizing.
let's talk a bit about your character then. Where do you want to start from them? Actually, like what was their perspective? What were they coming in with? What's your character like? Race, class, all the details.
Yes, my character was actually the heir to the land as well.
Oh, so like it would be the former
her father was the daimyo of their island, and she had a twin brother, but she was slightly older, so.
One of those situations where like the minutes matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's also played by another player character who dropped out before the campaign finish, unfortunately. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, her name was Sato Ryoto. She was she was a ninja raised by she was trained by another ninja who had come to Viven, who was from another part of the Broken Coast, not the same island, but she met him there in Viven.
Was ninja a PF1 class? I can't remember, or was that like the title for what you were playing?
No, it was an alternate class in Pathfinder 1 of Rogue.
Oh, right, because there was alternate classes, yeah.
Yeah, it was like Rogue, but it had a few different changes to it. Like it had a whole key system and stuff.
The monk rogue mix, like the ninja in 3.5.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And you were supposed to be the inheritor of the country. Your father was the daimyo. And did you guys find out about the change of government before you went back, or?
Yes.
So that's kind of what drew you guys back.
Yeah, I mean, it happened it happened when the characters were kids, and it was sort of this long-term goal as they were growing up, hearing about it. And then the chance finally presented itself.
Okay. Let's go step by step. So, what was the coming back like when what was the opportunity? What made you guys decide to go back?
It was well, the shogun has spent like the last 20 years basically taking over the Broken Coast, the Far East there, and then it turned out he had started a war with like the China equivalent called the Empire of Tien or T,
Okay.
yeah, T, yeah. And stuff, and when they found out about that, they realized it would be like the opportune time to probably take their island back, since it's all the way in the north of the Broken Coast, while T is on the south.
Mm-hmm.
And the Shogun would likely be too busy trying to deal with T because they're such a military might. So sneak in and try to take things back.
Okay, so while they were occupied with an invasion, decided it would just be a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And
oh yeah, I also forgot to. I guess I forgot to say as well. This happened later in the campaign, but she was also had kineticist levels.
oh, nice. So kineticist, for anybody
Yeah.
who doesn't know, because I think Rogue Ninja, pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Kineticist is a Pathfinder 1 and soon to be Pathfinder 2
Yes.
class where you use your constitution to open up a gate to the elemental planes within your body and channel it in a way that's somewhat harmful to your physical body, but lets you access elemental powers without spells or conventional magic. Like, you don't weave magic in the way of other people. You are a living conduit to the planes.
Yeah. That's why she has the fire sword in the art you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is
That
going
was
to be featured in this one.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's why she had basically she has like she has she's descended from dragons. So I ended up doing the kineticist thing as a way to portray that.
Nice. I like that.
And
Just
then
kind of
being
using
fun,
it to
yeah.
represent this access to elemental fire.
Yeah.
All right. So, what were the other characters in the game to set us up as we're heading into the story of what happened once you got back?
Oh, God, there's like at the start of the campaign there was the ones who were also from their homeland of Saruga was her twin brother Hajime, who was an alchemist who was obsessed with dragons, is using mutagens to basically take on like a dragon-like form. Nice. There was a Bat Bear, who would have been raised from birth to be like a loyal ward and bodyguard to Sada, who's a samurai centaur actually.
Samurai Centaur is such a cool interpretation because samurai were like similar to knights, high-ranking mounted warriors. So
yeah,
turning that into a samurai turning that into centaur makes so much sense to me.
Yeah,
but I've never really seen it. I've seen it with knights, but I've never seen that with a samurai. That's rad. And anybody else?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just trying because we changed through characters a lot throughout the campaign.
There. Oh, fair enough.
So I'm thinking of like there was Kasumi, another part of the who was descended from one of Sada's and Hajime's retainers there, who was also a kineticist. She was an Undine kineticist. Undine are basically like water.
Oh,
elemental
I misheard.
Yeah.
I misheard you. Yeah, the people with the connection to elemental water. Yeah, and so water was her element of choice then. Yes.
Then the ones from Baven was a friend we had made named Paulina Khalil, who was an Aneban, which was basically our GM's settings, like these Anubis type people that exist in a setting.
Oh, so like she was a monk. Jackal people.
Yeah. She was a monk. And there was also Cesare de Sensei, a gunslinger, who was very bad at shooting guns, but extremely good at lying to people.
Wait, so a gunslinger who's bad with guns?
Yes.
Was that just a fun choice for the player? Or?
Yes. Yeah, our friend Faroud, who played them, just wanted to make this character who was extremely good at lying, and just had this absurd bluff stat.
And chose gunslinger instead of bard or rogue.
Yes.
That's very funny. So that's the crew who headed back to your homeland. What was let's go through step by step. What was the arrival back like?
Oh God. No. After a bunch of stuff happened with Ven, but then once we got back to Sarugu, we end up in like the God. And basically like the on the north end of Sarugu, on like basically the black market town called this place called Shugo. Just in time as the shogun has sent the daimyo, I think of the current daimyo, or no, one of the shogun has sent one of the daimyos of one of the other islands to deal with this group of settlers who had come to be in the northern mountains of Sarugu. This colony of robot people called Iterons.
Okay.
To the we just got there just in time as the daimyo from another island, his armies were going to deal with them. We end up getting pulled up into it when we were investigating. And Sada and Hajime ended up falling through a roof when they were trying to eavesdrop in on this daimyo when he was making his war plans.
Oh, so you were like sneaking up, infiltrating, like, we're gonna be so sneaky, hearing these war plans, and ceiling collapses.
Yes.
Like, was that just a really low roll, or did he roll like a fortitude check for the item? Because that used to be a thing in PF1.
I think I remember where it was just a freaking like low roll from us. I can't remember exactly what the context was. It's been so long, but yeah.
That's a great outcome for a low stealth roll, though. I love that.
Yeah. He ended up he did the said daimyo, of course, had no idea who we were, so he ended up hiring us honest adventurers to help deal with the issue after we fell through the roof as a form of punishment.
Oh, so you were like hired as contract work for him, like, hey, spying on me is bad. You're gonna have to work community service.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we ended up going into the mountains with his armies there to deal with the Iterons.
So Iterons?
Iterons. ITERONS. Yeah, they're basically this predated the actual adding of automatons to Pathfinder 2E by a lot, but they're basically the same concept.
Ancient constructs with a soul that have been reawoken and repurposed.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I mean, it's like a fantasy staple.
Yeah, my GM has a habit of accidentally making a bunch of things that Pathfinder that they end up making actual things in the Pathfinder 2 for realizing. Like he had to switch to a slower based economy in Pathfinder 1, and which then ended up becoming the thing in Pathfinder 2, which is
amazing.
Yeah, and of course Iterons and many other things.
Yeah,
Iterons specifically.
Does your GM talk on forums a lot?
No, I don't think so. Not usually.
It'd be funny if people were like, "Hey, keep a close tab on this one. They got some great ideas. We gotta make the most of this." So, what did you come up with next? Says the Paizo FBI agent sitting in a van. What a genius plan! Yeah, robots, you say, but they have souls to go on.
Yeah, the Iterons specifically were like were their souls were from this like ancient elven like soul prison where the souls have been stuck inside for like eons upon eons. So they basically like forgotten any past lives or memories. And that's where Iterons had come from.
I think that's entirely automatons also.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I like Iterons a lot. I played one in his previous campaign, and I'm probably going to play one in one of his future campaigns as well.
Okay, and now you can just use the PF2 stat block for him.
Yeah, which is nice to have. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing you a favor. But could Iterons turn into cannons?
Not originally, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind it now since it's a feat by Paizo.
Yeah. So PF2's got one unique thing that wasn't taken from the forums.
Yeah.
And they added the ability to turn into guns.
But yeah, like God, to get back to the story. Yeah, we ended up going to the mountains to help the daimyo's army against the Iteron colony. that they were going to like try to wipe out there. And we ended
Okay.
up sneaking around to try to get into it, and then we ended up running into an Iteron named Bedalis, who invented the camera.
Okay. It
Yeah,
a surprising detail.
yeah. He called it the Batillo type. We ran into him as he was getting ready to take pictures of the approaching armies there.
Oh, so he invented it for like war purposes, for like scouting.
No, I think he liked the idea of a camera, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take pictures of this."
Oh, but then it. Oh, okay. Oh, he wasn't doing it for
Yeah.
military purposes.
Uh,
He was just
yeah.
taking pictures of the army for fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's novel.
Which yeah. What and then when we ran into him, it turns out the Iterons had been preparing for the daimyo and his armies that were approaching, and end up
Awesome.
unleashing like this like army of like mindless constructs upon them and just decimating the army completely. While we watched from above.
That works out for you guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was basically like designed to take out any living life forms. So we had the shortly run afterwards, and Bedalis pointed us in the right direction to get away.
uh, at least you escaped. You won. You won the battle. Seems like an all-around victory.
Yeah, so yeah. We ended up running away from the encroaching construct army that was designed to wipe all living life out, and ended up running into another Iteron named who had been previously an inhabitant of the island. But after an accident, he got put into he ended up going into an Iteron body after meeting said Iterons and stuff to save his life, called Shinichi.
Okay, so
Who
say.
ended up
I think I lost track there while I was focusing on
Oh
making
yeah. It
fire
was sort of
shapes.
my words were like yeah. It was and we ended up escaping and getting the help of another Iteron named Shinichi, who wasn't like who wasn't from like the Elven torture sphere. He used to be a regular man, but he got into like a life threatening accident, and he knew the Iteron, so they helped him out by putting him into
Oh, they
a
put him in
robot
a
body.
robot body.
Yeah,
Oh, that's rad. That's also such a trope in fantasy, but it's one of those ones that's so
yeah,
good that I never mind. Like, I'm
yeah.
never like,
It's really good. Yeah,
I'm never upset to see that one. Um,
yeah.
just a quick question: does your character ever do the two flaming swords at once, or is it always flaming and non-flaming?
Always flaming and non-flaming. I
Okay,
never got the ability to do the two at once, unfortunately.
fair
She
enough.
did get a really cool shadow sword though, so I did dual wield those.
Oh, okay, so Shadow
It was
Blade and a Fire Blade. I
yeah,
gotta look up hand
yeah.
wrapping for
Like
katanas.
it was like the God, it was like the brilliant rapier, which is like the rapier made of like positive
Mhm.
energy or whatever. It was like that except with a katana and negative energy,
That's very rad.
which is
All
very
right,
cool.
I
Yeah.
locked myself out of my phone by doing the password wrong too many times, so we'll look up hand wrapping in a second. Okay, I can absolutely do a Blade of Shadow because that's rad as fuck.
Hell yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
Shinichi helped us out. We ended up getting into the Iteron settlement and talking to the Iterons.
Ooh. So did you switch sides at that point? Like decide they were the better side to fight on? Did you betray them? What? How does that progress?
But yeah, we were basically with the daimyo that was making us work for them was basically against us, against our primary
Mm,
goal of because he was working for the shogun. So
loyal to the Shogun, yeah.
yeah, so we ended up getting to the Irans. It turns out there was only like a couple of them because I mean they're robots, so there's not like a big settlement of them. I think it was like probably like 7 or 8 or so.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we
Uh,
met their. I'll let you go ahead.
no, no, I was just gonna say. So you talk to them and decide that they're probably a good ally for fixing the problem that you came here to solve.
Yes. Yeah, we ended up meeting their leader, this sarcophagus shaped one who like giant sarcophagus shaped one named God, what's his name again? Named Agamentai, I want to say, if I can remember. Yeah, Agamentai.
Oh god,
Who
there's
is
something
who
cool
is
about a
who?
sarcophagus-shaped leader robot. That's so sick as an
Yeah,
aesthetic.
yeah. who is also a character from the GM's previous campaign that we ended up who's a villain we ended up fighting back in that one.
Oh, and now you're on his side. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. It turns out he had moved over to Sarugu to, I imagine, to get away after everything that happened.
Just gotta zoom out real quick. Normally I don't, but I just gotta zoom this out. Sorry. So you're working for a villain from the previous campaign now to defeat the Shogun who's taken over the country. What are the first moves? How do you start the war?
Well, it was more like he said he would work for he would work on our
Mm,
side, but he said he wouldn't fight our war for us.
fair.
He would offer his support, but it was basically like, yeah, this is your guys' fight. If you're not gonna be on our way, be in our threaten us or anything like that, we'll help you out, but we're not gonna fight this for you.
Fair
Basically,
enough.
yeah,
But you have an alliance with them.
yeah,
I love that. The idea of taking a character who's a villain in a past game and, like, in different context, making them an ally.
yeah.
Uh,
But
how do you
God,
start now that you are properly
God.
engaged against the enemy? No longer working for him. Do you go for that daimyo first and try to take him down, or do you
Well,
leave him for
that
later?
that like I said, that daimyo was from another island. He was the
Mm.
one leading those armies. He got fucking wiped out.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
realize. Yeah, he was on the battlefield. Never mind.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
He's dead.
we end up going back to Shugo. We end up taking out the magistrate there and taking over the town over with the
Nice.
help of some of the criminal underworld there, including a long term NPC of the campaign. This cat man named I can't my name his name escaping me, even though he was such a part of the campaign for so long.
Oh, it happens. It's
Yeah,
a 7 year game. Some things are going to slip. I do
yeah,
like your GM is going out of their way. I think when I ran an Oriental themed game, I was a much less experienced GM than I am now. But I struggled to include all the fantasy races because I'm used to imagining them from a Western perspective and imagining Eastern fantasy as being
yeah,
focused on humans, spirits, and the like. But, like, it is a world where those creatures exist. So I think your GM seems like he's doing a great job of including things like centaurs and cat folk and being
yeah,
like, no, no, these are still there. It's not like they stop
yeah.
existing just because we're in a different country.
Yeah. There was specifically his cat folk that was like there's like Eastern and Western cat folk, and Western cat folk are furries. Well, the Eastern ones are anime cat people.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah,
Might as well.
yeah. Here, I'm trying to
I feel
recall
like,
his name. I don't know why it suddenly left me.
oh, it's all good. Literally yesterday, I feel like I might take that point slightly less well, but I was looking up the anime art where they had Japanese artists do art for Magic the Gathering, and they turned a furry anthro-human cat folk into an anime cat girl. So that's like one of the best artists in Japan was like, "Oh, I'm drawing a lady who's a Catwoman. I know what to do about that."
Nice. God. God, I want to say it also started with an S. There was a lot of S-Dane characters in this campaign.
Things tend to gravitate towards S. S is just a
Yeah.
solid letter for things to start with. Uh, so you get access to you take over the local magistrate. So does that island become like the new home base for the war, or do you move on, put someone loyal in charge onto the next place?
Oh well, okay. Like I said, we ended up teaming up with this guy from their world. They basically the island. So it's like there was on one island, which was the island that Sada's father was in charge of as the previous daimyo back for the shogun took over, and then there's a bunch of other islands below it called this land called the Broken Coast of like just all these different disparate islands and stuff.
So
And
I want to ask.
Shugo.
No, actually, you go first, and then I'll ask.
Okay, and Shugo was basically the start of trying to take back Surugu
Hmm.
and stuff, which was like the magistrate of we end up taking out the magistrate of Shugo, and then that's started the rest of the campaign against of trying to take back Surugu.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask was, just for clarity, uh, is the Shogun just a force that took over that island, or are they like a military unifier trying to take over the whole country?
They're like a military unifier trying to take over
Oh, okay, so
the whole
you,
country.
so your
So they're
father
basically
was.
like
Yeah, sorry, you go.
yeah yeah. So the Broken Coast was basically like the Broken Coast was beheld to the to T basically
Hmm.
the fantasy China, and the her Sada's father, the previous daimyo, had an oath to T, but the Shogun wanted to break that oath, ended up uniting most of the Broken Coast in a this whole campaign of conquest to take on T.
I like that a lot because it doesn't take from any one direct part of history. Like it feels like it has inspiration from World War One, pre World War One, from the Sengoku Jidai, from the post Sengoku Jidai, from the original Rise of the Shogunate in Japan. Like it feels like it's
Yeah,
taking the Japanese and Chinese political structures and a lot of pieces of their history to tell a unique story. Whereas I straight up was lazy with mine and just did what if the Sengoku Jidai was magic? What if there is? What if there were wizards there? Wouldn't that be wild?
yeah, God, of
I think
course.
it's
I mean,
very cool and impressive to make like a unique story with foreign cultures,
yeah,
history and political setup. Because I think it's easier when you're more familiar with the culture you're working with to tell something
definitely.
fresh that's still honest to the political situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
God. After let me yeah, after that, there was
mhm,
a yeah, like this is a like I said, there's a fucking ages long campaign.
mhm.
And let me try to think of the best way to summarize everything.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Whatever the key points are, whatever's most important, I just want to get the best sense of the story as I can.
Yeah. So yeah, we took we got Shugo. Bappa, our centaur, accidentally got turned into a human during that point when he took this weird wish drug from the cat man who we were working with because
Uh
he was going to be stuck inside of a burning building.
huh.
Yeah.
So he had to turn into a human to escape the burning building because horse can't leave
Yes.
door.
Yes. It was like we had to go for like the secret escape tunnel, but it was way too small for him.
That's so fucking funny. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I I have to wonder. Do you think it's easier or harder for a centaur who is just a centaur turned into a human to learn horsemanship? Because I feel like it's harder because you're not used to communicating to the horse at all. You're like, this is supposed to just do what I tell it to. It's supposed to be my body. What the fuck?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, there's certain things you'd know about what a horse can do, but convincing the horse to do those isn't any easier for it. Oh my god, a centaur who's used to being a mounted fighter turning into a human. So did he have to like buy a horse?
No. Yeah.
No.
So we ended up. Yeah. He stayed as a just as a human for a while, having to get used to that, and then eventually we were after that we ended up going up to the there's a volcano in the center of Sarugo. We ended up meeting this friggin' this volcano witch who lived up there, and she helped change him back into a centaur.
Uh huh.
But he ended up becoming even bigger.
So he
He
turned
got
into a
like
fucking Clydesdale.
yeah, pretty much. He was just this fucking like huge ass centaur, and he had like antlers and shit.
That's pretty rad, though. At least.
Which, yeah, but then to help us out, the volcano witch also gave us our most used magic item of the campaign, of which the most jokes spawned out of, which
Uh
Bapar
huh.
would use for the whole campaign. This amulet that would transform him randomly into any other ancestry that existed on Logos, the GM setting.
So he just would be able to transform into a humanoid, like it's the spell humanoid form from PF2, but
Yes, but it was random.
but non-controllable. It's not like, and now I use humanoid form to become orc. It's like, well, I want dark vision. Hopefully, I get orc or goblin or dwarf or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's
Which
so
also led
good.
to some very good parts of the campaign where he transformed the things we didn't know existed on
I was
Logos.
about
So
to say that's such an opportunity to
yeah,
do world building and seed, like
yeah,
plant seeds of discovery for the world to be like, oh, this might be out here.
which like he turned into like several different forms of like drow and stuff at times, which the GM still hasn't introduced properly in the campaign. So
Did he turn into
and in the
anything that
campaign,
later got announced as a PF2 race that wasn't when you got it?
he did not, unfortunately.
That would be so good if he turned into
It would
like
have been.
a little frog guy and is like, no, he's not a bogger. It's a different frogman who's like a tree frog instead of a bullfrog. And then that gets announced.
He did. Yeah, he ended up turning into a. Yeah, he turned into like he turned into like a Drider once, and like a scorpion version of a Drider a
Ooh,
couple of
that's
times.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, which was like yeah, we have no fucking idea what this is, which was very good.
Oh, I love that so much. I love the idea of discovering things of the world because of that amulet. Talisman?
Yeah,
Amulet? What'd you say?
oh,
Same
it was an
difference,
amulet.
but
Yeah, yeah,
I guess they're not the same difference anymore because PF2 and talismans are a very specific thing, but
yeah, yeah. I think the funniest was whenever we became like a small race, because he'd be like this fucking like buff as hell like goblin or gnome that seemed like it was gonna tip over.
incredibly jacked gnome.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh, so just to briefly mention the art, I loved the art you got as a celebration for finishing the campaign so much that I really just wanted to do an action pose. So
Nice.
going all in on dynamism for this one.
Hell yeah.
A lot less serene. I wanted an intense expression, if that's all right.
Yeah, yeah, that works. That's definitely what's. I feel like that that sums up Sada. I think I
I,
started her off as like a bit of an edgelord, but she ended up becoming more like a shonen protagonist by the end of the campaign. So
the classic
just
edgelord to shonen protag
yeah,
transformation.
yeah. She sort of just became this like this character who was just too honest for her own good, but and a little dumb sometimes, but always did the right thing.
Oh, that's perfect. Look, if your goal is to become king of the blank, going shonen protagonist is fine. That's like fucking 60% of what they want to do.
Yeah.
You can call it number one hero, Deku. You want to be king of the heroes. It's okay. You can say it.
But yeah, God, the rest of Surugu, there was like endless. Besides the rest of the cities, we ended up finding out about that there was a. We ended up finding there was a subterranean city underneath Surugu called Krithilmar, which is where the rat people lived, called the Skitterkin, which are Yusoki and Pathfinder 2 now.
Oh yeah, they've added that as a proper thing that has Japanese reference now, but that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah. So yeah, we end up meeting those, and they end up becoming allies of ours as well.
I could even
After
see
we
them
helped,
in
after
the
we helped.
future. So you go.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say after we there was basically this one evil rat who makes all the rules, as you know, rats are
Oh my
known to
god.
do. He was going
Yeah.
to launch like a fucking like surface invasion of the surface world that we ended up stopping with the help of another Skitterkin named I can't talk.
No worries.
all the names are escaping from my head all at once. Even though this is one of my favorite NPCs.
No sweat. What matters is rat helped beat rat.
Yeah,
Oh god, you hate to see rat on rat violence, don't you?
it's true. Brisket, that was his name. Brisket,
Oh, wait, sorry, say that
which
again?
was really good. Brisket. B R
Brisket.
I
Hell yeah.
BRISISKIT,
The
which is very
classic,
good.
very Japanese food
Yes.
dish, brisket.
No, it was V like a rat like
Brisket.
brisket. Yeah.
Oh, brisket with a V. Oh, I do love that.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Oh
ended up.
man.
Yeah, he was this old rat who got pulled into it, and he ended up helping us out with stopping it, and then we like sealed like the way back to Krithlamar at that point. So the once when we stopped like this invading army from this big bad rat,
That's fantastic.
and he came back with us to the surface for a while. which led to many interactions of what the sun was and all that kind of ridiculousness.
Oh, I love one of my favorite bits in role playing games is when someone doesn't know something obvious and you have to find a way to explain it. Like it comes
Yeah,
up so often, and it's a great bit every time.
yeah, it rules.
So you take Brisket back with you. He becomes a helper. That's the result of saving everything from an underground invasion. I like that there seems to be like a mix of directly pushing the plot forward and these fun like side adventures where your
Yeah,
characters are still going on like quests in between.
yeah. I think yeah. If I remember right, this one specifically was this one was born of us like because we were starting to expand after taking over Shugo there, and we were like clearing out hexes like as you do in a kingdom building campaign. We ended
Mhm.
up finding like this old dwarven mine when we were exploring, and then that ended up leading to this whole Skitterkin encounter.
Nice. Where you just stumble upon the plans of an enemy you didn't know existed, and now
Yeah,
it's up to you to solve it because no one else is ready.
yeah,
Fantastic. Perfect peak adventurer. That's
yeah,
what you want to see.
yeah. And one of our NPC friends who was with us at that time, who was like I think yeah, Cesare had taken leadership, and he was his cohort. It was another Aniban named Pasquale who had come with us to who'd come with us to Sarugu.
Nice.
He nearly died, but Brisket ended up saving him with Breath of Life.
Oh, hell yeah. Vrisket's a priest?
Yeah, he was a cleric of this god named Amiria, who was also who was a previous player character
Oh,
in
I
the
love
past
when.
campaign.
I do love
Yeah,
when player characters ascend and become part of the Pantheon. It's.
yeah.
I try to
That was
not.
based on the whole plot point of the GM's previous campaign, basically. And this campaign took place like 80 years afterwards.
I used to keep my own world where I would have updates like that, but then I realized I could run a lot faster if I just used pre-existing settings. So now I'm
Yeah,
keeping my version of Pathfinder's world, and I'm being a lot more precious with who gets turned into a god because the Pathfinder gods I take a little bit more seriously than the ones I made up.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's the line I forgot to do proper. Uh, yeah. What are some
Yeah,
of
so
just like if we just go through some like highlights of the adventure?
yes. So yeah, we went for the whole process of getting through Sarugu and we keep taking it over, of course, taking it back.
Mhm.
Sada had found out previously there was apparently there was a false version of her and her brother there who are currently running the island as the daimyos. And currently
Oh
it was
shit! They
yeah
put like a
it was
puppet version of you two in place.
yeah which was this guy named which well yeah they were also going to be a Hajime and Sada. It turned out the other Sada though was not actually real at all. It was just this a complete illusion that the Hajime was real, and he thought his sister was like just bedridden and sick, but he didn't know she was just an illusion.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, by around like the tail end of us finally getting back to getting Sarugu back stuff and taking over the capital of Hayaba, we we ended up finally like encountering that and facing him and like his his advisor from the Shogun, and then this advisor basically lost his shit and revealed the whole thing and stuff. And
Oh, I
we
love
ended up,
it.
and he ended up, yeah. And the said other Hajime ended up turning against him and joining up with us after that.
Oh, nice.
Which
So, was the player playing your brother gone at that point?
no, he was still with us at that point.
Okay, interesting. That makes it so
Yeah,
curious. I'd love to find out why your GM chose to have one of them be an actor taking their place and one of them be an illusion, because I feel like it's an easy choice to make the one who's a player still be the illusion, but the fact that the other player was involved, I feel like the choice becomes so much more interesting. I'd be so curious to find out why.
yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, So yeah, we ended up after like when we finally took over Sarugu. There, I ended up. Sada was like, "Yeah, I don't think you're a bad person. What if he helped us out with this and stuff, and he ended up coming on board with us
Hell yeah.
as the other Hajime, or as he was, as he was sometimes rudely called the fake Hajime.
Hajime 2.
Yeah,
The
Hajime 2.
sequel. I'm giving her the little ninja toe shoes. None of the other art seems to have that, but I think they're cute.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, yeah.
I don't like them in context of other than a ninja's wearing them, but when a ninja's wearing them, it's like, well, of course the ninja's wearing the toe shoes. Mirror's Edge Lady gets a pass too, because that's basically a ninja.
Yes, it's true. So yeah, once they got back Sarugu, they ended up God. It was a while of us like basically just cleaning up hexes in Sarugu there for a while. There was the God. Oh God, I forgot to mention. We went down to God. We went down to Krithlamar eventually, the city of the Skitterkin with Risket.
Okay.
There. And they helped get the alliance of the Skitterkin council down there and stuff, because which Risket was a part of. Fortunately, it basically was like a whole council of like 6 of each representing a different god, I think.
Oh, so it was like they have a theocracy, polytheistic theocracy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we ended up going down there, and we ended up getting pulled into the plans of one of them, who was a worshiper of a Fudovast, the goddess of like monsters, basically.
Very fun.
And she ended up kidnapping Bapayr, our centaur. And
because centaurs are seen as monsters, or just as like a negotiating piece.
Just because he was buff as hell, actually. She made this priestess made like this fucking this device that could sap strength out of people.
Oh,
and she, like, just,
that's rad.
She sapped the goo. She sapped the strength goo out of them, and turned herself into this fucked up dragon monster, basically.
Oh, that's rad and very spooky. Yeah.
And that was actually, unfortunately, Bapayr ended up getting killed by that said dragon monster.
Shit. Was this at a level where bringing him back was realistic, or no?
It was not, because also, unfortunately, resurrection was not like just like a common spell you could pick up in this setting.
Oh, he made it.
So he was dead.
PF2, I feel like I don't do this, but in Pathfinder 1, I absolutely get people limiting access to resurrection, because like it feels very consequence free.
Yeah. I think having it had to be like an ordeal to bring a player character back is a good idea.
Yeah, and while Raise Dead exists at most levels, it's more expensive, and also so people don't do it very often, and also it is a very harsh time limit.
Yeah,
but in PF1, absolutely think it makes sense to limit access to resurrection and make it harder. So your centaur samurai is now dead forever because he got his strength sapped too hard.
Yeah, I mean, we actually managed to get it back into him, but he ended up getting he got killed by the dragon.
Oh, okay, so he got the strength. Oh, damn, that. What's so sad about that is I can't say he died because he got the suck.
No, if only.
If only. That's a tragedy that I don't get to say that great joke that I'm sure the player would love.
Which then after that, he ended up replacing that character for a bit with this with an evil Gripply sorcerer.
The tree frog is here.
Yes. Which and that named God. What was his name again?
Oh. We'll get it. We'll find the name.
I'm getting it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm really bad with names today for some reason.
No worries.
Garland, that was his name. Who was just this ridiculous fucking like this Gripply who was desperate to taste, who wanted to taste his own blood.
Oh my god.
And he wanted to get involved in this battle, in this war, because he wanted to be part of this whole thing.
He wanted to taste his own blood?
Yeah. He wanted to feel the thrill of combat.
Did he get his wish?
Yes.
Well, that's good for him.
Maybe a little too much though, because actually on that when we got to Hayaba to take the capital, he ended up running right up to the front gate,
Oh
casted a
fuck!
spell, killed exactly one archer, and then got turned into a pincushion.
So he just ran up to a fortified gate covered in archers.
No, he did.
Yeah, no,
We
he
stayed
did. That's
back
what I'm saying. He
with
just was like, "Aha!
yeah.
The perfect strategy," and just ran at that.
Yes.
Genius.
Yes. Well, we stood back with Armin. He just got decimated.
Oh god, I love
Which then
as a GM, sometimes it's really hard to kill a player because they're like they tried their best, the dice weren't on their side, they did everything right, and I have to put them down. And then sometimes as a GM, it feels very easy to kill a player because they've done the
yeah.
dumbest shit you could possibly
Yes.
imagine, and you're like, you deserve
Yes.
this, and you know you deserve this, and if I don't kill you right now, all of this means nothing.
That was very much a trademark of our friend Nuba, his player character, of doing things like that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Which then led to his third player character, after which we met in the dungeons of Ayaba, which was no other than was Balpear's former master, a man named Akio Arata,
Hell yeah.
who was I think he was God, I think he was a duelist or a swashbuckler of some sort.
Mhm. We
I can't
love
remember
an
exactly.
imprisoned samurai.
Yeah, it's very good. Oh, and there's my GM actually, Sal's.
Oh, GM's in chat.
It
Which
was
specific thing was
yes,
this?
it was. I think we were talking about how Garland got killed.
Oh god, I usually turn off channel rewards for interviews, but I'm not gonna let the points go to waste. Bellamy, come here. I'm not gonna back away so he can appear on screen, but the dog has been given a treat, just so everyone knows.
I was telling him about how Garland ran up to a wall and got turned into a pincushion, and then how yes,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know if you heard my bit, but what I was saying was that like there's the two kinds of killing a player character, the ones where you feel bad because they've done everything right and the dice weren't on their side and it's got to be this way, and there's the ones where you don't feel bad at all because it's literally all that could happen is that they're about to die right now.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but with the choices you've made, this is what happens. There's no alternative. You are dying now.
But yeah,
Oh
we ended up
god.
meeting at Akio in the dungeon in Hayaba there, which God. So Akio, he made Akio to be like Balpear's former master who had trained him in Faven during when we were growing up.
Mhm.
But there was this thing about Balpear because he had such a high strength score. He had an extreme climb skill, like the best climb skill
What? As
that
a
there's ever seen, even though
centaur?
as a centaur,
So is
which
he
led
just
to
goading his
which
way up stuff?
I don't know, probably, which then led to me creating this cannon when we met Akio as like, oh, this is the guy that kept throwing Balpear off roofs.
Why else would a horse need to climb?
Yeah,
Look, the thing you say don't think about it too hard, Sals, but uh I would question how a hooved quadruped climbs so good, but I've seen videos of goats. I've seen what they can do. I think a horse, if they put their mind to it, could do what goats do. I, I sure didn't. I would
so yeah,
definitely
let
give a penalty to a horse trying to climb, but if your climb skill gets high enough, then like, you know, you fuck me. The penalty doesn't mean anything. We'll go with
yeah,
that.
yeah. God, so yeah, that ended up becoming a defining character thing for Akio as throughout the campaign. Besides him being sort of a drunk, yeah, he had helped us out with getting back. Because he had come to Sarugu after hearing about what was going on. He was like he wanted this to help us because he had helped us in the past with Bap
Mhm.
because Bapper was his former student. So
I dig
and
that.
then he ended up getting caught up in prison. So yeah, he helped us with getting Hab, and then yeah, we had taken Saruku, and then there was like a fairly long section of the campaign where we were just cleaning things up in Sarugu and dealing with things there.
Ooh, I think we found a good starting tone for the colors. Uh,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that looks good.
So we've got your gang now. You've freed a few
Yes.
places. You've stopped an invasion. You have the rats on your side. You've
Yes.
turned a frog into a pincushion.
Yes. We have the rats and the robots on our side.
Rats and the robots on your side. Are there more? Is there more in this arc of gathering forces before we go for the attack on the capital? Try to finally end things.
Yes. A lot more actually.
Ooh, let's go through
We
it.
ended up yeah. So yeah, but after that we ended up this ancient elven floating city ended up showing up in Tsurugu.
Mhm.
This city called Amberyllion, Wings of the Phoenix. I'm sure South will correct me. What the exact name might be? Wings of the Flying Phoenix. So yeah,
That
so
sounds
they end
like
up showing
me, who doesn't know better.
they're this very long-winded name. They ended up showing up in Tsurugu there because
Nice.
they had been attacked by the city of the Wings of the Phoenix. Yes, that's it.
City of the Wings of the Phoenix. You know, a place is important when it's got two ofs.
Yes, it's very true. So yeah, they ended up showing up in Tsurugu because they had been attacked by the Shogun's like elite crew there,
Okay.
and there's this whole like countless have been killed, and this whole ancient library of theirs have been like melted to the ground like this by this team called the Seven Sorrows. So they end up
That's a
coming up
badass fucking name.
yeah yeah. So they end up coming to us because they heard about us and how we were going against the yeah, they heard about how we were going against the Shogun. So they're like, yeah, we'll help you guys out and fight by your side.
Okay.
So which will though first we ended up helping them deal with this. God, there was this other faction of elves in the city called the Sun Elves, who are also who worship this other god named Balathor, who is basically like this god of justice and vengeance. And these Sun Elves wanted to basically use the ancient elven technology of Amberyllion to basically bring down hellfire on the shogunate. Because
Okay.
the city is equipped with like this fucking like ancient elven death ray, which I think like the elves used back in the day, back when they were like doing a big old war. But a lot of technology had been lost.
So they had like ancient weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, and the Sun Elves wanted to use that. Well, of course, the rest of the Emberyllion did not want to, like the current head of the city, which we ended up talking to both of them. The Sun Elves unfortunately got exiled by by like the big ancient elf who made all the rules again. Who
You've
is
got one guy who
unlike
makes all the rules.
you gotta have a big guy who makes all the rules.
Although I guess
Because
the Rat
yeah,
Council the rats shouldn't because they're supposed to be a council. But one guy said, "What if I was the guy who made all the rules?"
which actually there was one very big fat rat who made all the rules, who was a
Yeah.
worshiper of this god of excess called Polonius.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, which yeah,
So
which
the Sun Elves, you convinced, or sorry, the Sun Elves got exiles. You
yeah, the
convinced
Sun
the city
Elves.
not to use weapons of mass destruction?
Yeah, we managed to make it so the Sun Elves could not use the weapons of mass destruction. After we talked to the God, there was the Archon who was in charge of the city, but there was also like basically like this really ancient elf who was from the ancient elfin times before the elves like all split off and became like wood elves and high elves and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and ice elves. And the high elves that we were dealing with are basically like we're trying to reclaim like the former glory of the ancient elves, but this guy was like an actual ancient elf, and like when he found out about it, he was pissed and he exiled the Sen elves from Emberyllion. But they ended up joining forces with us and becoming part of our army basically because they still want revenge on the Shogun for what they had done.
Just without the destroying all of the innocence part.
Yeah,
So even the Sun Elves were on your side. They just wouldn't have left the
yeah,
castle after.
yeah. Just yeah, they had their tensions with the elves of Emerillion, but yeah, they were both on our sides, fortunately.
Mm-hmm. Did the Sun Elves become a problem later, or did they just like leave and they were like, "Well, it's not like we're going to join the guys we wanted to weapons of mass destruction, so we'll just head out."
No, they just stayed with us on our side and they helped us out for the
Oh,
whole
nice!
campaign
They
basically.
just out of the
Yeah,
city.
Yeah, they set up camp outside the city, basically.
That's
Outside of Hayaba, while Amberyllion basically like floated like in like the ocean right above
that's
Hayaba.
such a funny exile. Like you are exiled from the city. All right, we're on the same side still, and you guys are. We're gonna be. Yeah, you can be right outside. Yeah, right. Fine to be right.
Yeah,
Just not in the city.
yeah, yeah. We'll just be here on the ground, I guess.
Uh,
While you guys float up there.
we'll be like less than a mile away from y'all. Yes, it's exile. You're not in the city. So, okay. You have no jurisdiction over the ground over here. I feel like if the politics were less well handled, I could absolutely see that group becoming an enemy, but them staying as an ally does make more sense.
We end up going to a deific plane
Okay.
because it turns out there was a portal on the island there, made by this worshiper of this jellyfish like god named Urchelon, who's this eldritch guy who'd been around since like time immemorial.
Mhm.
And yet they ended up making this portal on Sarugu there. I can't remember the exact reasons why we went. Oh no, I remember now. We had a curse. We got a curse put on us.
Okay.
Yeah,
We have
and
a
we're
curse
like,
now. Curse is in play.
Yeah. And the curse, we end up finding out the probably only one of the only ways we could break the curse was by going to the realm of Polonius, that god of excess I told you about earlier, and getting
Oh.
this potion that basically like would grant any desire you had.
Oh, that's interesting. So, like,
So we
it's
so
a
we got
god
that
of greed, so it can grant any desire, but it can be used productively because it's like, well, the desire is to cure a curse.
yeah, because the
That's
curse
really
was
cool.
that powerful that was the only way to get rid of it. Oh yeah, and before we went there, we actually we had dealt with a couple of like cultists of Polonius that were on the island and stuff as well, and we
Mhm.
met we actually ended up getting a succubus on our side from Polonius' realm called this guy named Godaris there, who Shazari's player ended up taking on as his I think as his cohort eventually, and also eventually as his player character.
Wait, so he played the succubus?
Yes.
Interesting.
So yeah, we end up going
I guess.
to the realm Polonius' realm there and dealt with that whole thing. And Polonius ended up making a deal where since we were starting to take over and stuff, he was like he's basically like, look, I want to be part of this land's new pantheon of gods that they worship.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, where he said that to us and stuff.
If you guys win, I want in on it.
Yeah,
That's so
and we
good.
ended up having to make that deal with them and stuff, and we ended up making this triarchy of for our basic our nation's gods, which was like which was Polonius, this god of excess, of course, a
Mhm.
Tenket, the god of god. What was the Tenket again? He was
That's
god
something.
he was god of being jacked.
The god of
god
swole.
god of god of strength basically, and
Nice.
Silva god of philosophy and self discovery basically.
Nice.
So it ended up becoming this like triarchy of like of personalness, I guess, of self
Oh,
of the
like yeah,
human psyche, I guess.
all the gods are kind of about self-fulfillment in different ways.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really
which ended up
cool.
working out pretty well. Yeah,
I
and it sort of
like
made
that
sense
a lot.
because we had a few Polonius worshippers that we kept running into and who were major NPCs, so it makes sense for Polonius to be like illegal on Sarugu. So like that, like the cat man I told you about was a worshipper Polonius. So
Hmm. Ah, that's a really cool thing of having a god that in theory could be seen as evil, but interpreting it in a way of being productive as part of this pantheon.
yeah,
I love that. That's awesome. So you now have a god on your side. You have elves with their
yes,
ancient WMDs on your side. You have rats on your side. You have robots
yes.
on your side.
Yes, and then we ended up. Yeah, there was also. I think around that point. Oh, there was a. We ended up getting the. Oh no, this was no. That was after. Yeah, so we ended up going back to the then actually
Mhm.
after a whole long term time away from it. We ended up going back to the then with Jazari and a bunch of the others. I can't. The like the I think it was like the secure. help from the Vietnamese government, hopefully for our cause after being gone for so long.
Okay.
And we ended up going back there, and that was a whole gone. Yeah, a whole bunch happened because I remember Sal was telling us before that he actually never had planned for us to go back to Viven, so that ended up being a whole thing.
Just going back to fantasy Italy when he didn't expect you.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, GM. Adapt, I guess.
yeah. So
We
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 ended up
want
going
back
back.
to Italy.
Yeah, we ended up going back there, and then during that time, a whole bunch happened. Cesare. So the one Cesare changed off from the player changed off from Cesare to Gadaris. There, it was because Cesare ended up becoming Grand Prince of Aven because of
Wait, what?
our actions when we were back in Aven.
Wait, that went too fast. I need an explanation on that.
Yeah. So God. Yeah, it was a good part of the campaign. So yeah, we went
Aw.
back to Aven for multiple reasons. I think one of the big parts was actually because Sada's foreign master and Kasumi's foreign master were both still in Aven because they had helped us get out of the city and stuff, and
Right.
we don't know what had happened to them, so we wanted to find that out.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
it's a kind and good reason.
yeah. Which but then we ended up getting pulled into this whole thing with the which of course, like I said, ended up with Cesare becoming Grand Prince.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so
So yeah,
Cesare ends up the prince.
yes. So basically, the way Viven's government works is there's like there's basically like 5 families who are like the richest family in Viven and stuff. One of them was one of the one of them was actually that NPC Pascal I told you about briefly was part of one of them as well. Which
Between prioritizing the wealthy and being called Vivent, I'm starting to have some sort of a Venice vibe from this somehow.
yes, it was very 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 Venice
Something
inspired.
something feels somehow Venetian here.
Yes. Where it was very much like, yeah, there was this low town where it was like all the waterways and stuff, and the high town, which was on this big like sea arch that just towered over low town.
Radical.
Yeah,
So sorry. So the city's controlled by the wealthy families.
yeah. Which Cesare was part of, was one of them. The
Mm,
family called the Decencies and stuff. Cesare was I forgot to mention Cesare was like this 80-year-old man, by the way.
oh,
This is
okay.
Yeah, he was like this old grandpa, lawful evil guy who was just
Wait, so a member of your party was a lawful evil grandpa noble, and we are just addressing that now.
yes. No, and also a gunslinger who was very bad at shooting things, but very good
Oh
at
my
lying.
god. Wild, very funny.
Yeah. Oh, he was 67. Okay, I thought it was in his 80s. God, it's been a while.
Okay. But still, a fairly old man, not a young
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I love that so much. It's very silly. I love it so much. Uh,
So yeah, we
so
end
you
up.
made him the crown prince. So did he stick around?
Well, so yeah, what happened was like we ended up finding out about. We ended up helping. We found out that Kasumi's foreign master was trapped in like this old ass like subterranean prison
Mm-hmm.
way down below. Then found out there was this old like contract devil, a philosophist who was down there as well. That the current Grand Prince of Aven was dealing with and stuff.
Okay.
And then we Cesare secretly ended up making a deal with that contract devil, which gave him mesmerist levels, if I remember right.
That's fun. I do like giving someone a bonus level, like if they make a deal with a demon. Like it's the only time I really, really like experience disparity these days. If sorry, you sold a piece of your soul, you get an extra level. I
So
want you
yeah,
to feel that power.
we ended up finding out that the current head of Aven was dealing with devils and stuff. We teamed up with with some of the the Viven families who were planning to who were planning a coup, I think. They get rid of her.
Nice.
And then, but yeah, when we encountered her, she ended up like opening up like a hell portal into the Ven and becoming like a part devil lady herself. It was a whole thing.
Good for her.
All hell broke loose. Yeah,
People don't let women do anything.
yeah. We ended up getting rid of her, and then there was an election held with the 5 families there, and Chazari ended up winning the election to become Grand Prince.
So he makes a deal with a demon. You kill another lady for making a worse deal with a demon. Or sorry,
Yes,
devil.
we never knew he made the deal with the devil.
Yeah. He gets to become crown prince. Does he stay behind?
Yes, he stays in Vivenne.
I
But
thought I remembered you saying that. I
when,
just want to double check I remembered correctly.
But that's when the player started playing as Gadaris there, and it's revealed that Gadaris also made a deal to no longer be tied to his amulet that basically bounded him.
Okay.
So he was no longer Shazari's thrall, and he ended up staying with us because his part of the deal was basically that he would gain his power from our success in Surugu, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was no longer bound to this amulet. And
but instead
he
was
came
bound
back
to
with
a
us, of course.
contract to help you.
Yeah. So he came back with us to Surugu, and that's what that was the character Fu started playing as.
Nice.
Until he ended up, he also unfortunately ended up dropping out. She also ended up dropping out of the campaign, unfortunately, because they had just gotten so busy. Unfortunately,
well, it happens. Unfortunately, especially with games that long.
They did fortunately make one more appearance, Ashot-Danielyan, at the end of the campaign.
Aww.
So that was fun, but yeah.
That's good at least.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we ended up dealing with the devil in Fantasy Italy. Went back to Surugu.
So he sits around in Fantasy Italy. Did you collect any other allies there, or just the new PC?
I'm trying to think. Oh, we found out there was also rats below Fantasy Italy.
Hell yeah, makes sense.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Rats
which
get around.
The rats were, yeah, which the rats were planning to the plan to also launch an attack on Vivenne.
Did you just talk them down like, hey buds, this doesn't go well?
Yeah, it turns out they had been tricked by something, and the hole they were going to open up to the launch their attack on the surface roll was actually into the Great Bay of Vivenne. So they opened it up, and just ocean came crashing down. And we ended up
didn't talk them out of it. You just didn't have to.
Yeah, we ended up saving their asses, and they basically were like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah." And I think Chazari ended up working with them from that point on in the background of the campaign.
Nice. I like that. God, something very Warhammer about rats trying to rise from the below the ground to take over Fantasy Italy.
Very much.
In that, I think that happened in Warhammer.
So yeah, we went back to Surugu. We ended up Accio had a yes, we killed 6-7 of the councils. Yes, that too. I forgot about that. The one remaining was
you annihilated their leadership.
Yeah, the last one there was like, oh yeah.
There's something fun about the feeling of reaching such a high level in a game where anything that isn't the big bad, who's at like peak strength, you can just show up and make choices like, no, I am going to destroy your government. Sorry. You do not have the ability to stop me.
Yeah. That section was such a blur. It's been so a lot happened.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So yeah, after that we got back to Surugu. Accio had ended up forming this whole like mercenary crew, which we brought back, which some of our NPC friends from ended up coming back with us and joining up with like his crew of mercenaries there, including Sada's former rival, this magical trickster named Edric and stuff.
Okay.
Who was a friend and rival of Sada, who joined up with Accio. The name kept switching around. I think we called them Accio's Angels as a joke a couple of times, and he kept insisting on Ed or Heaven as an MGS reference. Because they had ended up like sort of becoming like this French legionaries type of thing for us.
Just
where they're like foreign soldiers who were helping us. So while we were like during that quest with them, we ended up making an alliance with the Fantasy French, this nation called Montfrancons, if I'm remembering the name right, who also ended up allying with us because they had this history of revolution because they used to be part of this basically like the this Germanic Roman Empire in the setting called the Dumandian Empire.
Nice.
So they ended up helping us out as well and giving us firearms because they're some of the inventors of it. So
The French are like that, just going,
yes,
hey, y'all doing a revolution? We love that for
yeah,
you. Have money and
yeah,
guns. You need any generals? We got generals lying around.
yeah. And we also ended up getting the goblins who are on the island on our side as well. Because so yeah, this is another interesting thing about the setting. The goblins and goblins on Logos, it turns out were like God being controlled by this weird ass like. Because it turns out goblins were from space, so
Well, okay, we can't speed past
yeah,
that one.
yeah, goblins were from space. I mean, we never found that out in the campaign, but Salsa sort of explained it to us, and there was plenty of like of clues that our characters would understand, but that we would understand. So it turns out goblins were being controlled by this weird ass like technological hive mind of sorts that was sending like a signal, like a control signal that made goblins act like goblins. These
Huh.
forces of like destruction and like of just like furthering and creating more of themselves because they're like basically had like these cloning and goo vats that goblins would be born from. And Accio,
Bonkers shit, and I love it. I'm here for
yeah,
it. Just that is such
and
a bomb to drop in the middle of the explanation that goblins are from space also.
yes, yeah, and then we end up meeting with this settlement of goblins led by this goblin named Krem, who had ended up getting like this, like getting a metal plate in his head.
So he couldn't be controlled?
Yeah, and that ended up blocking the signal, and he found out the truth, basically.
Oh my god.
So he ended up splintering off with like a couple of goblins there, and starting like making metal helmets to block off the signal.
That's rad.
Yeah. So yeah, then Accio ended up meeting up with him and helping out Cream there with when it turned out because there was this whole like because there was still one of those friggin' like these goo vats like goo pits that was like a threat to them basically because they had escaped from the hive mind, and so there was this whole like bonus session where we played as like members of Accio's crew basically for like a session with Accio, and we ended up helping the goblins there and fighting this friggin' like this sentient goo pile, which was like controlled by like this friggin' like computer thing and stuff, and that's how we end up getting the goblins on our side.
That's such a funny
Joining
idea
us.
to have like, hey, this guy's got his rotating cast of foreigners. We're gonna play as this team together on a mission.
Yeah, we did it a couple times. It was fun.
That's such a fun idea. I've never done something like that, but I love it so much.
Yeah.
A way to have those characters be involved in PC activities and have their background stuff be something that like the players are part of. I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot that happened. We caught the attention of the Shogun. Shogun tried to invade us. We ended up pushing back the Shogun's forces that he has sent. We also ended up going straight to the main island at one point where the Shogun's forces were to take on the Seven Sorrows, and we ended up killing most of the Seven Sorrows actually, except for two: a 3D kineticist named the Burning Wrath, a magma kineticist, and a lich basically named the Eternal Bells.
Sorry, a lich named what?
The Eternal Bells.
The Eternal Bells. That's cool. I heard the Turtle Bells.
The Turtle Bells, yeah.
The Turtle Bells is way less cool.
Yeah,
that makes much more sense.
Those two escaped, and the Bells of Eternal Tolling. Yeah, that's it.
Bells of Eternal, even cooler. Okay.
Yeah.
Much better than the Turtle Bells.
Yes, and there was there's two others. The Mask of a Thousand Faces. This master of disguise who we had countered before, who tried to assassinate us. We ended up capturing him at that time.
I love trying to assassinate players as a GM and like seeing how they survive in a situation where they've been attacked at their most vulnerable. Like, how do you do it? What was the attempt?
God, I'm trying to remember. because it was like I think he just attacked us all with like these like teams of like ninjas and like this other ninja who had been a problem for us during the campaign as well, who had been working for our enemies and stuff. Like they just attacked us all simultaneously while we were separated.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. While they're
Yep.
separated, that makes the difference.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And we ended up
That's how you
capturing
make
him.
an
And
assassination.
there was also this another one who had survived called the Swift Shards of Vengeance, who I think was a ranger or a rogue or some sort.
Nice.
Yeah, we ended up
What are cool names.
yeah, we ended up capturing the Thousand Faces, the Mask of a Thousand Faces, and then he ended up getting killed in his imprisonment when we ended up I think it was, I want to say it was Kasumi and another player character who was with us briefly, a barbarian named Suru, ended up making a deal with this priestess of this cleric of the Vela who showed up, because apparently the Mask of a Thousand Faces was working with her, because the Bella was like the goddess of lies and trickery, basically, which fitting for a guy named the Mask of a Thousand Faces.
No, it does fit his MO for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Which there was a deal of basically like to try to like tie him to our service, and then Suru, when that was done, Suru just killed him anyway because she was like she hated him
Fair.
after we made the whole deal. So, and then we end up getting tied to this priestess of the Bella, who had her own agenda. But yeah, that was the whole thing.
Whole thing you want to go into, or a whole thing that's a bit too much of a detour?
Too much of a detour because I can barely remember. So, yeah, and Shunichi also unfortunately ended up getting killed when we
Who's
ended up
Shunichi?
on
I'm
the
losing
seventh.
track. Sorry.
Yes, Shunichi was the Iteron monk who was a former human who got put into a robot body. He ended up joining us there. He was actually inside his cohort for a while. He got killed, unfortunately. Yeah.
Tragically.
Yeah.
That is a shame.
But yes, we had. I forgot to mention we also had managed to bring back Batbear at that point, because thanks to being in the realm of Polonius. Yes. We end up getting this another like desire potion that allowed Sada to basically do a resurrection spell and bring back Batbear.
Hell yeah! Was he
and Batbear ended
leveled
up
up
becoming?
Or
he ended up becoming Akio's cohort, basically, which made sense because he was he's like, hey, my former player character as my player character's follower, basically.
That's so funny. I like that idea. Yeah. God, the fact that they used to do cohorts is fucking wild to think about. Like, that's so much power. I kind of glad they got rid of things that are like, hey, do you want another character?
There's so much shit. So let me try to go over some of the bullet points here, quick. So yeah, after that, and we end up going to the realms of Silva and bringing back Shinichi as like this powerful spirit, because we didn't bring him back traditionally. We literally put his soul, his ascended soul from the afterlife into a Iteron like soul core. So he sort of became like this more powerful entity. We also went to there was this other character I never mentioned, another Batbear actually, which is another.
Wait.
There was two guys named Batbear.
So this is just the GM having a laugh and being like, wouldn't it be funny if there was an NPC named Batbear?
Yes, I think that happened by coincidence. He was planning this NPC named Batbear, and then Nuva also made a character named Batbear.
That's I would say an unrealistic coincidence, but then there was a time where I named my character. I was like, what's a badass sci-fi name? Wolfgang Jax. And then I sent it to my GM and he was like, oh, hardy har, you saw my list, huh? And I was like, what list? And he showed me his list of cool NPC names that he had planned for the game. And like second on the list was Wolfgang Jax.
But yeah, Batbear was like basically one of Sada's rivals in the event, because they both basically had the same backstory of like all four of characters forced from their former homelands by conniving entities. And Batbear was from this land called Kesh, and is basically like a Mongolian inspired type of land. And his tribe had been taken over by his uncle when his uncle had killed his father.
And it's Batbear the NPC.
Oh, it was in Cesar. Yeah, okay. I forgot.
Never mind. We've had a correction. Batbear 2 was created by Batbear's, but also very silly.
So and I end up seeing that. I think I end up deciding to make Batbear like Sada's rival, but they're like friendly rivals. And Batbear actually came with us to Surugu because they made the deal like, oh yeah, once you help me take back my homeland, I'll help you take back yours.
Nice.
Yeah, so that point finally came. Finally had the chance. Went with Bathfire to Kesh and stuff, and we ended up meeting. We ended up in this river kingdom called Oromai, and
Mhm.
there was a which we end up meeting is this ancient blue dragon there who is basically head of the criminal underworld there, which who also ended up becoming one of our long term allies in the game. And he ended up being like an actual like really ancient dragon, which he was hiding at first because turns out he was like I think he was like one of those like direct descendants of like one of the first of the original blue dragon. I want to say.
Oh fuck yeah, that's rad.
Yeah, which was some crazy shit. But yeah, we ended up meeting him. We went to Bapayara's tribe, help get control back, care of this guy named the Dollar Khan, who was trying to take over all the tribes in Kesh.
Okay.
Yeah, we ended up defeating him, and his armies fell apart after that. Bapayara got control back.
So Bat Bear, the NPC, got control of his tribe back. I forgot that Bat Bear
Yes,
was the name of the NPC we were talking about for a sec. I had to bring myself back
yes,
to it.
yes. Bapayara the NPC, which also was confusing because Bapayara was back. Bapayara the player character was with us at that time too.
Yep.
And
No
we also
worries.
ended up having another player character join us at that point too, which was they took over an NPC called God, I don't my names they're leaving me. They're a cleric of Crypta, the goddess of death, basically,
Mm.
who joined us.
So
Yeah, we
Cleric
went
of the
to
Goddess of Death joined.
Asai. That was her name.
Mm.
Yeah, she joined up with us, and we ended up helping Bapara. There was this whole great section where there's like the be able to take on the Dalarcon in combat. We had to like fleet these or no, it's take back the tribe from Bapayar's uncle there stuff, and then meet the Dalarcon. It was we had to do these like tests of these multiple tests there. There was one
Mm.
where Sada basically was in a foot race across like a balancing act across this lake, and they end up summoning like a literal air elemental, and Sada just like outraced it like completely because my acrobatics was just like through the roof,
That's very cool.
which was very cool. And there was and Batfire also ended up just doing a climbing race where he just climbed up like Batfire the centaur,
Bat Bear
just
the Centaur. We're
outclimbed,
back to Bat Bear the Centaur.
where he outclimbed someone on a mountain race.
That's so
Because
funny to imagine.
yeah,
You're like, your party, who are you going to put up to challenge our greatest climber? And you're like, this horse. The
yes,
guy's like, that's okay. And then he just fucking Skyrim horses his way up the mountain,
yes,
just like
yes.
sliding his way through terrain, and you just have to be like, oh, I just lost a climbing race against a fuck. Okay, rad. That's my life now. You get to go home and tell my wife this. A horse just beat me
After
in a
we
climbing race.
dealt with that, and part of the way while we were going, there was a section where I think we accidentally introduced an invasive species of monkey snakes to Kesh, but
Probably not a
we don't worry
problem.
about we don't worry about that.
Probably not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, we got back to Ormai. We actually got pulled into some stuff with this ancient blue dragon named Blue Eyes there, who was
Okay.
the head of the criminal underworld. He ended up God, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I remember now. We found out Accio. So Accio had gotten this cursed sword. He got this cursed sword from the from a from 4 PC from the previous campaign, who had become this time this gnome called Urab, who become this out of time entity.
An entity freed from time.
Yes, and he gave Accio this cursed sword, and this turns out this cursed sword was basically like was the key to activating activating the weapons of mass destruction from on the ancient elven cities.
Oh shit. That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, and it also turned out the sword was evil and had a mind of its own. And when it saw Blue Eyes, it got fucking pissed because the dragons, the blue dragons in the ancient elves had like this massive beef where they destroyed like several of the floating cities and stuff. So the sword basically activated and took over Accio and tried to kill Blue Eyes.
Huh.
After he Blue Eyes basically got gotten stuck in his like elven humanoid form
Mhm.
by one of his men betraying him
Shit.
and just
Okay.
sticking some shackles on him.
So I was
So
gonna
we
say,
end up
so
getting
that Blue Eyes won, but now that feels less guaranteed.
we ended up helping Blue Eyes and freeing Akio from this sword that consumed him and stuff. And Sada, I think Sada had gotten Blue Eyes free of shackles, and then Blue Eyes revealed his fucking like true power as like this ancient ash dragon.
Mhm.
Flew up into the city sky, just turned into this massive dragon that like eclipsed basically the city's entire sky, and like sent down like this ungodly lightning storm upon the sword, which then revealed to the whole all of Oromai that Blue Eyes was this ancient ash dragon.
So normally, for interviews, I like to just keep it to 90 minutes, but I feel like this is such a long campaign, we haven't gotten to the ending yet. Do you want to keep going
I can
while I
go for
do
a
the
bit
finer
longer.
edits?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
All
and
right.
I'll try to zoom through
No,
what
no
we got
worries.
left.
I am having a blast. I just want to
Yeah.
check and make sure, like, you're still good.
No, yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Blue Eyes. Yeah, we ended up helping out Blue Eyes. And then when everyone found out he was everyone in Oromai found out he was a dragon. The king of Oromai was like, "Yeah, I'm getting you out of here. You gotta go." And
Mm.
Blue Eyes was like, "Nah, fuck you." And he turned back to his dragon form and like just crushed the king of Oromai's castle.
Yeah. Wait. You're gonna order me around now that you know I'm a unstoppable force of destruction. Great decision, bud.
Yeah, he didn't kill him. He just crushed his castle and threatened him. And the king was like, wait, wait.
On second thought,
And then Blue Eyes just took control of Oromai as easily as that because he was this fucking ancient ash dragon.
well, he's on your side.
Yep,
So now you also get to
mostly.
add to our list of allies, Blue Dragon who owns a country.
And then when we finished up there, he sent basically three of his like great grandchildren with us because he was sick of them leeching off of him. So these three
You
blue
said
dragons came
trust
with
fund
us.
dragons.
Yeah, there was these trust fund dragons basically who were just leeching off of him in his palace there. So he sent them off with us because he was sick of dealing with them.
Very funny.
So they end up becoming some good friends of ours as well.
I feel like I would love to talk to your GM because we would absolutely get along on a lot of these decisions. I love to have dragons' kids be involved in a weird way. Like just think about how weird dragons and the relationships they build over time is because of how long they live and their power. I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's
Oh yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that Blue Eyes like former mate, his paramour, had been killed by that Darlar Kong I had mentioned earlier. So he was thankful for us for basically getting his revenge finally.
Aw, that's awesome. You're helping him out after all this time. Lived a long life of pain and finally got what he wanted. Vengeance.
But we went back to Surugu with those three blue dragons, and then
Nice.
when we got back, we found out basically the Burning Wrath had attacked Hayaba and nearly burned the city down.
Which one was the Burning Wrath again?
The one of the surviving members of the Seven Sorrows there, she was the
Mm.
magma kineticist.
Magma kineticists are awesome.
Yeah.
Great. She made a great choice. Not in burning down the town, but like choice of elemental gates. Great decision making. Burning down the
She had
city, I don't know,
nearly
less than ideal.
she had nearly burned down the city, and then we had the blue dragons transform back into their dragon forms to track her down, and then that was a whole deal we had to deal with our allies as well. It's just three blue dragons suddenly appearing in Surugu. And that was also when we got pulled into basically a bunch of dragon politics because the other dragons who were in Surugu revealed themselves at that point because the three blue dragons had just appeared out of nowhere.
And they were like, "Hey, we kind of gotta. You can't just show up."
Yeah, which it was revealed that one of the long running NPCs in the game, this guy named Manamura, was actually a golden dragon.
Oh, that's rad. I love secret
And he,
dragons are great.
Yeah, and he ended up confronting Sada like out of his mind, angry, like, well, "Why did you bring blues here?" Basically.
Oh no,
But
not dragon
we eventually,
racism.
yeah, dragon racism.
Oh no.
But we actually end up eventually making them like work together and get along. And they actually, all four of them at one point actually came to our aid against a bigger dragon who was threatening us,
Oh hell yeah.
even though they would have stood no chance.
Okay, so rundown: robots, rats,
Robots, yeah,
uh,
rats.
WMD armed elves who have been given the key, or at least
No,
you have
we made
access to
sure
the key.
we made sure they didn't get the key.
Okay, you have access to the key
Yeah.
for the WMDs. Foreign agents, piles
Yes,
of
the
guns,
French.
the French, small country owned by a dragon, several of that dragon's kids, a different dragon.
Yes,
That's the rundown of the forces now.
yes. So yeah, we tracked down the Burning Wrath. Finally defeated her. We trapped her in a crown because we found out that there was this whole thing where basically the old god of chaos got separated into three pieces, and she had one of the pieces in her, and if we didn't just seal away, that piece would be reborn endlessly, and etc. etc. So we sealed it inside of a crown.
That's always the option when you can't kill stuff in a fantasy world. Like, you can never
Yeah.
kill me. All right, well, I'll put you in an object. That's an option I have. It's a fantasy world.
It's true. Yeah.
Like, way to be immune to one of the thousands of things that I can do to stop someone in this reality.
Yeah.
The
then,
easiest
after,
one you're immune to? Oh no. Don't worry about me. I'm just putting this portable hole in a bag of holding near you. I've prepared plane shift.
Yeah. So yeah, and then like I said, the other dragon that showed up was one of the freaking one of the big dragons of T, because T basically has all these like big dragons who are like these big figureheads
Mm.
who protect T. So this iron dragon of the I can't remember which direction he was, because basically they're separated into like four directions. I think he was the
Yeah.
Iron Dragon of the West. I want to say he showed up,
Makes
and
sense.
he threatened us. Or it turns out it was sort of an acting. It was real. He was actually Sada's. He was the one Sada was descended from, of the
Oh,
dragon
that's
blood. Yeah,
rad. So he's like your great
yeah.
great grandpa.
Oh, the North, Iron Dragon of the North. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Badass
But yeah,
cardinal
yeah.
direction.
And it revealed he was just testing us, because he was like, "Surrender to me now," and stuff. But we didn't surrender when we were losing the fight. And he was like, "Okay, you guys got what it takes."
You guys got gumption.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was when the blue dragons in Manamura had showed up to try to fight him, even though they stood no chance.
Oh, the grandchildren?
Yeah.
They wanted to prove their mettle and did not.
Well, no, they wanted to help us. They wanted to protect us because they saw we were in danger. So they and the gold dragon that they had been former enemies with had teamed up to try to help us.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
Yeah, but then of course it turned out that he was not against us.
Nice.
And we talked
Who-
about trying to basically like figure out things with T.
Who was next on the hunt for allies?
I think actually we went to some of the several. Finally went to some of the other islands in the Broken Coast. Managed to get most of the ones that were adjacent to us on our side and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Through a bunch of like different like little campaign things. Like there was we met another one of the old dragons who was being threatened by I think the Bells. Yeah, the Bells of the Eternal Tolling had ended up like stealing her body, and she had transferred her body to like this whole thing where they were trying to like take her out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like another one of Sada's great ancestors. And then we ended up getting that island on our side. There was another island which had been invaded by which the Shogun's forces had ended up unleashing like this army of undead upon. So they ended up joining up with us.
Real intense.
Yeah.
I guess he's trying to take over a country. Makes sense he'd have a lot of high level stuff and be intense about it. But like, damn, Army of the Dead now?
Yeah. It turns out he actually he didn't know about the he did not know about the Army of the Undead.
Oh, that was an accident.
Yeah.
That one was an oopsie.
but I also don't think he really cared. So
Fair.
when we did finally meet him, and we told him. But yeah, we got the other islands on our side. We ended up finally meeting with T and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sada had made the decision long ago that she didn't want to uphold the oath. She wanted Tsurugu and the Broken Coast to be independent from
Right.
T, instead of going back the way things were used to be.
So she did want at least one thing in common with the Shogun, which is, I guess, why at the beginning you were giving him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we both want independence. It's fine.
Yeah, that she started like to sort of feel like maybe the Shogun was someone who was like her once, but just fell into the wrong path of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like any price, any cost to achieve it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so what happened with the meeting with T?
God, yeah. So yeah, we went to T. We ended up having to. Oh God, Skitterkin politics part 2.
Oh my God, what? There's more?
Yeah. So yeah, we went back down to this Krithlamar at one point.
The City of the Rats. Yep.
Yeah, City of the Rats. And they had broken out into civil war.
The Rat Civil War now.
Rat Civil War, yeah.
Okay.
And we managed to meet up with Frisket and the Polonius, the fat rat, who made all the rules. And working with them and trying to get back control of Krithlamar and stuff. Because we remember that evil rat who I mentioned earlier, who was trying to make a service invasion. Yes. It turns out he had come back, and he was the one behind orchestrating the Civil War, so he could get control of Krithlamar and get that service invasion back on. So yeah, we dealt with that, and that basically secured the Skitterkin as our like permanent allies and stuff. They were pretty thankful to us for helping deal with the Civil War, and basically just long-term friends. I love the Skitterkin. Love those rats.
they seem pretty chill as rat people who once tried to invade the surface.
Yes, and we got Peep. Peep was an outsider of Amiria that was in the Temple of Amiria and stuff that Brisket had given us. He was this guardian who was bound to this tablet and stuff. And Brisket had given us Peep as thanks. He was this. We named him Peep. He was a biblically accurate angel.
So wheels and gears and eyes and wings.
Yes, he was an outsider of Amiria, and then we named him Peep.
This pile of assembled in and organic pieces, Peep.
Yes.
Lovely name, perfect. No changes, no notes.
No changes, no.
100% good. I'm really glad I decided not to do the hood. I was debating if I was doing hood up or hood down for this.
I mean, yeah, it looks really good with the hood down. So, yes, there's the description. Eye of lightning surrounded by 7 wings of storm clouds.
An eye of lightning surrounded by 7 wings of storm clouds, and you're like, "This is Peep." Was that just a pet?
I mean, yeah, he had the whole biblically accurate angel lore voice and everything going on. And it was just like, yes, Peep, that will be my name.
My name shall be Peep, and I shall serve you in your justice. Dude, I don't know.
He ended up becoming the Kasumi, the water kineticist I mentioned earlier. She ended up making this kineticist monastery, and Peep ended up becoming the guardian of it.
Oh, that's rad. That's great.
Really cool, yeah. I finally remember his name, Borkrit. That was the name of the fat rat who made all the rules.
Okay.
Borkrit, yeah.
So,
who was also another one of our Skitterkin allies there, who worshipped Polonius. It turns out he had ended up getting the he ended up stealing the goo strength machine.
I just had a thought. I have a question for you. How much longer is this? Do you think it makes more sense, in your opinion, to finish up here in the next 18 minutes, or for you to come back and us to like pick another one of the PCs, maybe if anyone else from the game wanted to join, or your GM to be on call as well, to go through the rest of the game in a part 2?
Honestly, that would probably be pretty good. I could finish it up like give the really quick lowdown, but
I feel like you can get more into the details, and I kind of want to know about it.
Yeah, that would be really fun to do, honestly. So yeah, we should work that out. Yeah, I'm sure Sal's will definitely be down for it.
I'm tempted to draw the centaur, but the centaur was dead for a lot of the story. I might want. Was there any other character who was like one of the PCs the whole way through, other than yours?
Kasumi was.
Kasumi. Okay. So we're gonna put the note in, I guess. Then we're gonna leave a pin in it right at when you guys were about to go to tea.
Yeah. Yeah, we go into further detail there.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised that a game that lasted 7 years takes multiple streams to get through. Well, until then, thanks again, and have a great rest of your day. I'll send you this artwork ASAP. Yeah. And until next time, audience, it's been lovely drawking to you. I was about to hang up, but I just want to respond to Saul's quick because it's gratifying to know someone enjoyed a campaign I ran to speak for hours about it, and that someone can enjoy listening to it. 100%. This is an amazing game. It's really, really deep and big and cool, and I think you did a great job.